I hereby call the special school committee meeting to order, it being Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, 7 p.m. We are at the George M. Romm Little Theater here at Brockton High School, which is 470 Forest Ave, Brockton, Mass. 02301. I do need to read into the record the following. This meeting will be held and will be accessible to the public via Comcast Channel 8 and also the 1071 HD version, and online via the following link, which is www.youtube.com/TheBrocktonChannels. At this time, I would ask that we please stand and salute the American flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. I will now establish a proper quorum by calling a roll. Mrs. Sullivan? Here. Mr. Gomes? Here. Mr. Vega?
Here.
Ms. Oliver?
Here.
Record should reflect that the vice chair is actually on vacation tonight. He's not with us. Ms. Azak?
Here.
Mr. Sullivan?
Here.
I'm here as well. We are joined again by the clerk and also the interim superintendent, Dr. Priya Tahiliani. Thank you for being here, Doctor. At this time, Agenda 4 is the hearing of visitors. We did not have any residents or constituents sign in this evening, so we will move on to Agenda 5, which is approval of the BPS Student Parent Handbooks 2024-2025 action requested. I do want to just take a moment to thank the Dean of the School Committee, Tim Sullivan from Ward 7. Prior to this meeting, there was a policy subcommittee meeting that Mr. Sullivan chaired, and we did have a favorable recommendation out of that. So I will go to you at this time, Mr. Sullivan, if you want to just give a quick summary relative to the discussion point for the policy meeting. Thank you.
Yes, a quick discussion is, the meeting was held tonight at 5:30 at the Romm Little Theater, and a motion was made. It was made for a favorable review going to the full school committee, and it was unanimous. There was a few people that made statements, Deputy Sharon Walder, and Dr. LeBoy. I don't know if he's still here.
No.
And that's it. We had a good meeting.
Thank you very much for the summarization. Members of the committee, any further questions relative to the approval of the BPS student parent handbooks? If there is no further conversation, I would entertain a motion at this time so we could take a formal vote. Ms. Oliver?
We're just going to do it separately.
Yes.
Remember the high school and the remainders,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I can put the motion to approve the Brockton High School Student Family Handbook with the correction that Dr. Walder stated, and also the email on August 16 at 12 a.m. with the corrections.
Thank you, Ms. Oliver.
Second.
That's form of a motion. Is there a second on that? I'm sorry.
Second.
Second. So just the record reflect, motion was made by Ms. Oliver, properly second by Mr. Sullivan. I'll call the roll at this time. Mrs. Sullivan? Yes. Mr. Gomes?
Yes.
Mr. Vega?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Ms. Azak?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
I'm a yes as well. Now we would entertain another action. Motion?
Motion to accept and approve the, do I have to list all of them?
You could just say
All of the student family handbook as presented with the revisions that were done
for the year
for the year 2024-2025.
Thank you. This form of a motion. Motion was made by Mr. Gomes, properly seconded by Ms. Azak. At this time, I will call the roll. Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Gomes?
Yes.
Mr. Vega?
Yes.
Ms. Oliver?
Yes.
Ms. Azak?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
I'm a yes as well. Thank you. That has passed. We will go on now to number 6, unfinished business. Any matters before us this evening? Unfinished business? Seeing none, we will now move on to number 7, new business. And I know we have some new business relative to some meetings coming up as well. Mr. Gomes, please.
Oh, yes. So we would like to schedule a athletics subcommittee meeting. And I believe you had mentioned the 4th, right?
Yes, just for those watching and those in attendance, we typically meet again every Tuesday night, right, as set regular, except for when the first day of school is not on a Tuesday, we meet that evening. So we will be meeting Wednesday, September 4th, which is the opening of BPS schools. We will be meeting not at 6 anymore. We were out of summer schedule. We were back to 7 p.m., so we could meet prior to that time.
I just remember I won't be here the 4th.
We don't have to call it then. We could call it
We can call in the next meeting for
the second scheduled meeting in September.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay? Just let the record reflect, we will be calling a subcommittee for the athletics at the request of Mr. Gomes, but it will be at the prior to the second regular scheduled meeting in the month of September. Mr. Gomes.
So there's some things I would like to share with the rest of the committee.
Sure.
I've recently made some discoveries, and I've been a little bit disappointed with what I've learned. I learned recently that the Brockton Public Schools have been charged for a investigation from a firm that we did neither request or approve for a city-side investigation. It has gone to our legal bills, and I lost my train of thought. You know, in light of transparency, I wanted to share this with the rest of the committee. Again, I understand we were told that this was on the city side. We were not expected to pay for said investigation. However, we were the BPS was actually charged for that investigation, and I'm confused right now as to why we did not approve this, who authorized this, and the other thing too is why did we have to pay for another investigation knowing the RSM was already conducting an audit for us, which came out at a much, much lower rate than what we're paying for this city-side investigation. With this information, my request is that for our next school committee meeting on the 27th, which is a regular school committee meeting, that the city CFO and also Dr. Cobbs be present in that meeting. Trish Boyer as well. She usually is here.
Sorry, what was the date you said?
The next school committee
September
meeting.
4th.
No, we have one on the 27th.
No, we don't. We only have one in August.
We don't?
I believe there had been a discussion about another meeting, but the only thing that's on record right now is September 4th.
There
yeah.
won't be a special next week.
Okay.
I won't call it because I'll be with my kids
Gotcha.
before they go back to school and take a
Okay.
Next
vacation.
one's September 4th.
September 4th is the next
I was
regular
under the
schedule.
impression we had a meeting on the 27th.
No, we have three subs on the 27th.
Okay. Well, then in
But I will do this. I will, of course, honor your request. We'll put it on the agenda for September 4th.
Yes.
Invite those three individuals that you mentioned relative to finance, CFO on the city side, Mr. Clarkson, Trish Boyer on the school side, Dr. James Cobb, and we will list that. It's not ripe for discussion tonight, I will tell you that, because it's not on the agenda. But out of respect for you as a fellow elected official, of course, we'll put that on the agenda. But it is not ripe for conversation. Mr. Vega.
This is really just to get a better understanding of rules. So within the new business section, somebody like Mr. Gomes can bring forward a discovery and
And then it would be
and ask
listed on
for
a
it.
previous,
Oh.
next, there has to be a date certain designated. In this case, date
But-
certain is September 4th.
But we
And
can't
then-
drill down or ask
No,
additional
because it's,
questions.
number one, the people that are mentioned tonight were not invited guests, and it is not lawfully listed as an agenda item, which we will do September 4th.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Ms. Oliver, please.
Just to piggyback from Mr. Gomes, I would like to request the FY '24 our legal bill.
Sure.
To see exactly how much was spent and what is going on with our legal bill. So if Troy, Mr. Clarkson, and Trish Boyle can please make sure we have that prior to our meeting so we can analyze it at home, so everybody gets an idea of what has happened, what has transpired. Just for moving forward of what happened last year, we just got to make sure everybody's transparent, accountability is taken, and basically this is why we want to request the three following people and also our legal team
Sure.
to be here, Kevin, for guidance to.
I do believe Sarah Spotify will be back from
She's
maternity
back?
as well on Monday,
Okay.
so.
Awesome. So basically, those four people, if we can have it in a meeting, so everybody's alert and know, so we can have a full conversation what happened.
Perfect. Ms. Azak, followed by Mr. Sullivan, and then back to Mr. Gomes, who already spoke. So Ms. Azak, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Gomes, please.
Thank you. So, correct me if I'm wrong, finance is a subcommittee. We don't need to call a special meeting if we're discussing finance. Finance is a subcommittee of a whole. It's always been a subcommittee of a whole, and it's our vice chair and the committee members. But
Yeah, but we're going to call it September 4th, because I'm not here next week, and I want to be here for this as well. So we could either do it two ways. We could call a subcommittee on September 4th. We're going to be meeting September 4th as a regular as well.
that's usually a long night, because that's usually,
Oh, yeah, we have a
everyone's
lot.
reporting to us, it's the first day of school. There's a
So
lot
what we
going
could
on.
do at the will of the committee is if the committee chooses to, we could call a 6 o'clock FinCom on September 4, 6 PM, followed by the 7 regular scheduled, if that's the will of this committee, but it's whatever the committee wants.
Because I believe earlier this evening, we had asked to do, was it a policy that same night?
Yes.
That's
Oh,
just-
I'm sorry, yeah.
That's
so
just
we
a
couldn't-
lot that
You're right.
night, yeah.
Okay.
We could always try to do it before that meeting. We just have to have our first day of school meeting on that Wednesday, but I'm not sure what the will of the committee is. It's just, that's gonna be a very long night, and we wanna be able to let our staff and those that are presenting be able to have time and not feel rushed presenting to us. But that's why I was always under the impression a finance meeting was not part of a special school.
Well, we could call a FinCom or a special that week after the 4th. The only nuance, again, is we're not on a Tuesday night, we're on a Wednesday. So the only night we'd be able to call that week would be Thursday. But we could, that is an option we could do. We don't necessarily have to do a date certain tonight if we don't choose to, but the chair has declared that it will be agenda item. So it's whatever we want to do in terms of the date, but I want to accommodate, like, your school schedule, we need to accommodate these things. Any more, Ms. Azak? Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Gomes, and then back to Ms. Oliver, please.
I'm not sure I can ask this, but in his, Mr. Gomes' discovery, did he have an amount that was paid? Or can he even talk
It's
about
not,
that?
again, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but it's not ripe for conversation tonight. The request was made on a new business. The chair honors it. We're going to put it on the agenda. But the information is not on the agenda tonight, so we should not be talking about it tonight.
Okay.
I will find out tomorrow. I think Sarah is coming back Monday. So it'll either be Attorney Bresnahan or Attorney Spotify. We're not paying for both of them to be here. So, Mr. Gomes, followed by Ms. Oliver, please.
Yeah, I wasn't done. So I was going to request the legal bills as well as the invoice that came in for that legal bill with dates and everything on it.
Sure.
And any contracts that we have with this other firm. Yeah, I waited too long, and now I just lost my train of thoughts.
Take your time.
I will request any and all applicable documents relative to that matter.
Yes, please.
Okay, that's a catch-all for everything. But again, we're on a slippery slope right now because it's not an agenda
Yeah,
item.
no, I
And
understand.
Again, I hear you, I honor it, I respect it, and we will put it on the agenda.
Absolutely. And any documentation as well that shows the total amount for the investigation that's being conducted.
Sure.
Not just what was
And
billed to us.
All I can, one other person we may want to invite, and I actually will invite, would be the city solicitor.
Okay.
Megan Bridges, she's the chief attorney for the city, because that investigation is not being run through me, it's through the law department. So
Okay.
I don't know that information, but she would.
All right. And by the way, it's over $400,000.
Wow.
Can't talk about it tonight because it's not on the agenda.
I didn't hear
But we
that.
will talk about it when it is on the agenda.
okay.
Is there any other matters, Ms. Oliver, did you have another follow-up?
No, I just want to clarify, because per the email I got from Melinda, supposedly we do have a meeting next week for Security, Safety, Transportation Subcommittee meeting, and I think it's at 6 o'clock on the 27th here.
We do have subcommittees next week. I
Yes,
believe we
okay,
have,
just wa- okay,
we have 3 subcommittees next
Okay,
week.
Yeah.
The
yes, we
next
do.
regular meeting, because we're in the summer right now, there'll be not another regular in August, but it will be September 4. And then
it's
we'll
at
actually
s-
back to
I think it's
normal.
at 6 o'clock.
Correct.
And I think I also wanted to put a request, can we add the financial process policy to that? The financial subcommittee?
No, that wouldn't have,
Plans? Would
that'd
that
be
be too
4
much?
subs that night. That'd be too much. That'd be too much.
'Cause we also need to schedule that as
But
soon as possible.
we also, as we talk, let me, because the other one was on BCA, but as the chair, I'll just reiterate again, myself and Tony Rodriguez, the vice chair, have been talking about it. We're going to get back to normal subcommittee numbers. We did it committee as a whole for a purpose. We need to get back to how the original intent of the school committee subcommittees are. So I will list that on September 4th as an agenda item, and I'll work with the vice chair and with, of course, Dr. DeHeliani. We need to get more manageable numbers, so number one, we have the process to move forward.
Can we get, once those requests are put in for, specifically for some individuals, can we get some type of update if anybody refuses to come and the reason why they refuse to come on, when we are talking about this certain topic? Like if anybody that we have asked, requested to come in front of us, basically say they're not willing to. I want to know why they're
Yeah,
not
the
willing
only,
to.
sure, the only thing I can say is, from my years on the city council, you can request people, we don't have subpoena power to make people, and also, there are some people, like myself and Mr. Rodriguez this week, that will be doing vacation before kids go back. So that's why September 4th is after school, and we can move forward, but we will do that. Any other matters? New matters?
On the same matter, just clarification, for those watching, we do have a handful of certain subcommittees that are committees of a whole.
Yes, thank you for the clarification.
Policy, finance,
Those stay, yes.
curriculum.
Yes.
And I know we did bid review, and then, yes, and I believe the superintendent's contract review. Those are all have always been.
Committees of the whole.
The school committee of a whole.
Yes.
Where the vice chair chairs those.
Point of information, yes, thank you.
Just to clarify, like,
Yes.
not everything,
That's right.
okay.
Mr. Sullivan?
Just one other thing was brought up to my attention tonight, that we need an accounts review meeting as well. And I don't know whether we can squeeze it in September.
Yeah, again.
I
so
know the
there's-
4th is that,
There's a week from tonight is filled with subs. The following week will be back to school, and we already have a regular. We have a sub prior to that, which is designated as policy, so we can get certain matters approved that are going to be supplements to the handbooks. So on September 4th, when we get to new business, it's a long night, you're right, Ms. Azak, we will have to really spell out what dates in September and book those dates for subs.
the reason I bring it up is we're going to have to get Trish to have the accounts sent to us.
Correct.
It's been a long time since we've done it,
Correct.
so she has to be let know.
She's going to be here that night anyhow, so we can, put in the request.
Okay.
Okay. Huh? All right, new business. We gotta keep going. New business, please. I think Chair's gonna move. New business, please.
So for future meetings, I had the opportunity to watch last night's city council meeting.
Yes.
And during the conversation around public safety building, some questions came about the potential impact of the overages on the BHS renovations. Obviously, that's something this committee should take a look at. There's a lot of conversation. I think Councilman Thompson had a lot of questions, and his line of questioning seemed to include debt exclusion language. But I think the concern that was being expressed by some members of the city council was that the additional funds, were they to allocate them to the public safety building, which is important, might have an effect on our ability to deliver on BHS renovations.
I would humbly disagree on that. What was before us last night, because I was there until 11 o'clock, was a borrowing authorization where the city of Brockton will borrow to continue to get that building 100% complete. What Mr. Clarkson has said, and he said it from this podium, is that we are in the feasibility study. The city council approved the $2.5 million. It'll be about a year and a half to do the feasibility for Brockton High. And at that time, there has to be determination how, if the MSBA wants to continue to take us forward, right, how there is going to be financially sound practices to move forward on our share, the 80-20 split. So he has mentioned potentially debt exclusions. Prior to that, he thought, Troy being he, thought that if we acquired the fairgrounds. Now, a lot of the money, and you know this, last December from the city coffers was depleted so that we didn't have a state takeover. So I think it's ripe to continue that discussion. We have a year and a half to try to figure it out. Our bonding authorization was approved last night. Again, they have to do 3 readings, but our bond rating by Moody's and S&P has not changed. So I think what we may want to consider on the school committee, I was going to bring this up at new business as well. City council does what we call resolves, right? City of Boston does resolutions. I don't know whatever it does, but Brockton does resolves. There's nothing that says that the school committee could not adopt a policy where we could do resolves, because if we invite people in to discuss a certain purpose like that, it's much like how it's done in the legislative body and the city council. This is the legislative body on the school side. I think it would make sense to do that on a policy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, and as I'm listening to it, and again, a lot of this is new for me.
Yep.
But I think actually what I just heard reinforces the idea that this needs to be, a learning opportunity, but also an opportunity for further discussion and
Correct.
questions for the committee. So I don't know if that makes it a future agenda item. I know we're trying to fit a lot in, but last night's meeting really raised a lot of questions for me. And to your point, to honor the rules, I know we can't really get into it, but I definitely want an opportunity to ask some questions. If that could be added to a future agenda, that would.
Why don't we do this? If the body chooses to tonight, much like when I suggested we do a standing public police, public safety at the schools agenda item, we could do a monthly agenda item, which would be at the second school committee of the month. We could put a standing order of MSBA update. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Is there
yeah.
a motion relative to that?
So would that include folks like Troy Clarkson, other folks who can speak to the city side?
Yeah,
of
everybody
yeah.
that's on the
Welcome.
on the call for
Fantastic.
MSBA.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
there a
I'd like-
motion on that?
On
The
that
motion is, I'd like to make a motion to use every other meeting to discuss, what's the acronym?
It's the MSBA.
The MSBA.
Okay. Just a form of a motion. On the motion, Ms. Azak?
On the motion, we do need to update those that will be sitting on that committee,
Yes.
as some of the members are no longer with us that
Correct.
were appointed. So I'm not sure when that would come into effect.
Well, it's already been updated to change the vice chair
Okay.
and to change superintendent and to change some folks that have left on the city side. So Allison Sullivan is the point, again, this is an agenda item, so.
Yes, yes.
Let's just say there's a motion on the floor, it was properly seconded. All in favor by hand vote, all opposed. So we will add a standing agenda item to get status updates on the last school committee of every month. Any other matters before us relative to number 7? Ms. Oliver?
Just wanted to just update everybody, because I know this was during subcommittee, that on the 4th, we are going to, the subcommittee, what we're going to be meeting for is a civil rights policy change that was updated on August 1st of this year for Title IX, with new regulations, and so we are going to meet about that.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the time certain for that? 6 PM?
6 PM.
6 PM. Any other matters on 7? Seeing none, we'll move on to 8. Any announcements at this time? I want to make an announcement. I made a pledge that we'd get a new flag. Thank you for whoever got us the new flag, thank you. Really appreciate it. It has been brought to my attention from Mr. Sullivan that we need a flag from the Commonwealth, the state flag. I suspect it was moved during high school graduation. We will find it. If not, we will replace one, and it usually sits behind me here. So, any other announcements at this time? Mr. Vega, followed by Ms. Azak, please.
Just a public acknowledgement. In the short time that Dr. Tahiliani has been here, I'll just say, it's been my observation in one-on-one meetings with her, but also having the opportunity to see her out and about in our community. There's a very clear energy transition that's going on. And so I'm very excited. And I just want to publicly acknowledge the work that you've been doing. You've hit the ground running. And I will say I have never felt better about any hiring decision that I've ever been a part of than I do about this one.
Thank you, Mr. Vega. We all concur on that, definitely. Thank you. I'm sorry, was it Ms. Azak, followed by Ms. Oliver, please?
Thank you. I just wanted to just make an announcement to just keep St. Teresa's Church in your thoughts and prayers on the passing of Father Joseph Abisad. So I'm getting choked up. He was a wonderful man.
Yeah.
Passed away a few days ago.
Didn't know that.
So just keep St. Teresa's Church in your thoughts and
Yes.
prayers, and reach out to them. I know that church has worked with so many of our schools, especially during the holidays. They worked at Are Known and things like that throughout the years, and we have a lot of our parishioners are our teachers. So it was unexpected, but our thoughts and prayers are with his family and with our church family. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ms. Oliver, please.
It's tough to go after that one. Just wanted to, the event on Friday with the high school band was incredible. Knowing the fact they had only 1 week of practice, just to show how incredible and talented our students are. Definitely to the residents, keep supporting our band boosters, volunteer doing, games and support. But it was a great event, especially with the food trucks. My daughter and her friends love all the food trucks that were there. But it was a great event put by the band boosters. The parents did an awesome job, and so did the kids.
Thank you. Superintendent, any announcements?
No, it's just been such an honor to be able to start attending events in the community, to be able to meet with all of you and get to know you, and you know, members of the community, members of the school leadership team. And I was able to go to freshman orientation today, and more than 50% of the freshman class was there. It was great to see all of the students there, the energy of the administration. They were actually, speaking of policies, they actually broke up into groups and were playing Jeopardy on their student handbooks to make sure that they knew what happens if you have so many attendance, or so many absences and things like that. So and this was day 2, so they have 4 full days of activities. Yesterday was a scavenger hunt to learn how to navigate this giant building. So they're just doing a lot of really wonderful things to make sure that our students are acclimated for the start of the school year. And I just wanted to thank all the students who came, let students know that if they didn't come and they want to still come, they absolutely can come for the last 2 days. And just to thank the administration. It's so clear how much hard work went into that, and I just really thank them for making sure that the school year is starting off strong.
Thank you very much, Superintendent.
Could you,
Any,
just- what time are they coming? The next 2 days? Do you know?
I don't, it's, I believe it says 8:45, 8:30, 8:30.
8:30?
They start coming in at 8:30, they begin the program 8:45 as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
So it ends at 12 and they have like a lunch and stuff.
any other announcements at this time? Ms. Azek?
Thank you. It was actually, I've been meaning to make an announcement. Thank you. I'll make a formal announcement. We'll have some photos. We'll have all the names. Things have just been crazy, but we did do our backpack giveaway the first week in August. So many of the members were there. Thank you for your help. It was a very hot day. We gave out over 6,500 backpacks. I am getting emails. If we do get more from Cradles to Crayons, I'll do my best. And we were able to give some backpacks for the safety event, the first responder event over this weekend. So I'm out of backpacks, but I know the need is out there. The need is out there. So if any members know of any events happening over the weekends, I think there's an event coming up this weekend or next weekend at one of the middle schools.
East,
and they have,
at East. Yep.
I think they do haircuts and backpacks. There's always stuff going on. So always check out the Facebook pages, get onto the school pages. And if there's a family in need, just reach out. We'll do our best to help you out. But thank you to the volunteers. It was we had a lot of volunteers, Our superintendent was there, and we had a lot of our police. I know the mayor was not, I think.
I was
someone from-
chugging along Falmouth Road Race this weekend, so.
I think someone from your office has
And
stopped by.
four
yes.
from my team were there, yeah.
So thank you so much. I'll do an official, we'll have it up on our website, thanking everyone with all the photos. Again, it was another successful event. 6,500 backpacks in a few hours. It was a lot. So it was a lot of work. And it was a hot day. But thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Any other matters before us tonight? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn at this time.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion was made. Is there a second?
Second?
Motion, just for the record, motion was made by Mr. Sullivan, properly seconded by Mr. Sullivan. All in favor of adjourning? All opposed? It carries. Drive careful. Have a good evening. Thank you.